Hello, I'm Tracy McEachran from Curious Minds Consulting, and one of the things we do is shine light on people's talents to help propel them forward and achieve their potential. I'm going to take you back to 1984, when a fading pop star discovered his real talent.
It's 12 noon in London, 7 a.m. in Philadelphia, and around the world it's time for Live Aid.
They called it the greatest show on earth. 58 bands across the globe playing live in a 16-hour music marathon. It raised millions for the starving in Africa and put governments around the world to shame. But it was the day they thought would never happen.
When they told me about it, I thought, what a terrible idea.
I burst out laughing. I said, don't be ridiculous.
Not least because its creator was an unlikely hero, a foul-mouthed fading pop star.
No, that's pumping.
So that was Bob Geldof, and what he did then changed the way we do things about charity. We take it for granted now that we have these massive events, but then it was radically different. And nobody knew he had that talent. But he found a passion, he found a purpose. And in that, and trying to achieve that, he found his talent. But he had a really big talent, but he knew he wasn't going to deliver his vision on his own. So an old African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And Bob knew he needed someone with very, very different talents from him. And he chose Midge. Midge was his friend because he knew he had different talents. And I'm going to show you another short clip now where Midge Ure talks about what talents he brings to this whole vision.
But he has, as you know, his remarkable verbal skills, and if he doesn't get you with poetry, the spittle isn't far behind.
It's half trending, Daisy.
I was really suspicious when he first rang about Band-Aid. I was going, this is odd. Geldof be doing this. There must be something in it for him.
You can't blame someone for being mildly suspicious. Try and marry these two images of a man who cared desperately and passionately about starving people in Africa, and this other big, bad-tempered git who swore at everybody.
He's got this drive, this mad ambition to get this thing done.
Even further back than that, though, I think.
He's like a terrier, he will not let go. And once he had been let loose and got hold of all these artists, while I'm trying to put the record together, he's getting all the artists together, running up my telephone bill, I have to tell you. We both assumed the role, I was the producer, I was the guy dealing with the music, he was the guy rounding up the crowd.
There's no question. If Midge just let it all pass, that would have been the end of my involvement. And the record would not have been made without him.
So they did something completely fantastic, radically different, and they both had different talents. And it was these talents coming together that made a real change. But what is it? Why is it that Bob Geldof got to maybe 30 and discovered his true talent? Well, I think it sort of goes in our upbringing. And if you think about your school days, or going into schools, what happens? You can't read very well, you get help. You can't do your maths very well, you get help. Everything you underachieve at, or you're under the average, what school wants you to be, you get a focus. Everything you're good at, you're left to your own devices. Tick. You can do that, we don't have to talk about it. Let's focus on this stuff you can't do. Remember your school reports. Remember your mum and dad. Brilliant, you're going to do well here, but let's have a look at this. This is where you've got to focus, because this is what you've got to get better at. We spend our lives focusing on the things we're not good at. And you know what? That goes through to work. We go through work, and your boss sits you down and goes, tick, tick, they're good. Now let's look at the stuff you can't do. Let's look at your weakness. Let's look at your development needs. And you know what? Guess what? If you work on your development needs, you're going to get better at them. But you're never going to be a shiny star. It's never, ever going to be a talent. So imagine if you could spend all of your time, or 80% of your time, leveraging the strengths, the things that get you feel in flow, the things you're naturally good at, instead of focusing on the things that are hard fought and difficult for you. It would be different. The world would be different, to be fair, if we did that with our children. There's a saying here, our life is frittered away by details. And for me, our lives are frittered away by focusing on the things we don't do well. And guess what, as women, we're even worse at focusing on those things. And life is busy. It goes at 100 miles an hour. And the only way you're going to go fast and far is to focus on your talents and your strengths. And simplify. Instead of trying to be good at everything, what are you good at? How can you leverage what you're good at to compensate for the stuff you're not good at? Focus on doing the stuff you do well. Leave somebody else, like Bob Geldof did, to the stuff that you can't do. Find that person, find the team, find the people, and surround yourself with them. Now, the difficulty with this is self-awareness. And what happens is we have these natural talents, and I want you to think for a moment, if you've ever said to somebody, oh yeah, but anyone can do that. When someone says, you're good at that, and you go, well, yeah, but that's easy, isn't it? Anyone can do it. That's because it's a natural talent. And then the stuff that's hard fought, that we've worked really hard to be good at, we treasure it, it's hard fought, so we go, yeah, I'm really good at that because I'm aware I'm really good at it because I had to get good at it and I've become good at it. And I think this is a lovely model, the consciousness ladder. Now I'm going to talk you through this ladder using my 15-year-old son as an example. Now he can't drive, he's never sat behind a wheel, and he says, Mum, when I come to drive, I am going to be really good at it. It's going to be easy for me. So, okay, son. So when he's 17, is it? He gets behind the wheel. Eek! Suddenly, it becomes going from an unconscious incompetence, something he doesn't know, an unknown, to a conscious incompetence. He gets behind that wheel and realises how difficult it is. Now, and that's what we do with our talents, our weaknesses. They come here. And then we fight, he'll go through his driving lessons and he'll want to achieve and become a driver. And it gets to this stage, this conscious competence. So mirror signal manoeuvre, he has to think about it, but he can drive. It's a competence, but it's a conscious one. After you've been driving a couple of years, do you ever think about what you're doing in the car? No, because it becomes an unconscious competence. We master it, we gain mastery, we're on autopilot. Some people don't actually go past that conscious competence when it comes to driving. But anyway, most of us do. But it's autopilot. So this is the reality. The reality is all the stuff you're brilliant at, you're talented at, unconscious competences. They're not even front of mind. And all the stuff that heart's thought is conscious competences. So you're thinking about them all the time, you view them, you see them. That will take energy. This takes no energy. So all the time that you're working, there's no stress, you'll be okay here, it'll be something you can do well. As soon as it gets stressful, then it's these talents, these unconscious competences that really come into their own. So that's the challenge for us, to know what our natural talents are. We use the Me.Talent talent scan, and that becomes the We.Talent talent scan when we're working with teams. It's very different to any other tool out there. It's developed by a Dutch company called the True Talent Team. It's based on Jungian psychology. And the reason it's so different from anything else out there is because it works on words and images. So all profiling tools work on a conscious level. You go onto the website, you fill in things, it's words, you have to think about it. We use images, and images tap into your subconscious. Look at an image. You will have a gut reaction to it. You'll go, oh, I really love that, or don't like it. There'll be a reaction, or I'm indifferent to it. That's because it's your subconscious that's reacting to an image. And so by using images in the talent scan, we get into the subconscious motivational drivers. So we reveal things that other profiles cannot reveal. And what we do is we then can pull out your natural talents. And most people recognise their natural talents, actually. They'll go, oh yeah, I thought everyone could do that. It's an easy thing. So we pull out those natural talents that go for you. The fragile strengths are the things you've learnt. Now they work for you fine most of the time, but they take more energy and they'll go awry when in times of pressure. But we can pull them out and say, okay, this is learned behaviour. It also pulls out your sense of purpose. Do I have a sense of individual purpose? It will reveal that for you, and that is incredibly powerful. As we've seen with Bob Geldof, when he had a purpose, he was completely driven. It looks at how you interact with the world around you, whether you're too full on into the world, whether you're not in the world enough, you're not having enough presence and you're being too quiet. But the other key things that look at are blockers, emotional blockers. And we all have them, and we have them from when we're children, and we don't even know we've got them. We don't recognise them because they're so much part of us. And so, what the talent scan does is really give you help you see the diversity within your team. Ethnicity, gender, age, culture, we can see all those differences. We don't always see the different talents. And it's really important to have a team of diverse talents. And if you're working on your own, find people that have different talents from you. Find people that think differently. Find people that challenge you. They will help you go far. So it's really important when you're putting the team together that you understand the diversity talent-wise within your team as well as other aspects of diversity. Because what you can do then is say to your team members, this is your area. This is your area of mastery. This is where your talent adds to the team. And in that, your mastery means that I'm going to trust you to do that work. I'm going to give you autonomy. And you, as a confident person, knowing your talents, can take that ownership, can take that autonomy. And then a sense of purpose. The beautiful thing about a sense of individual purpose, it will bring diversity to a team. People will think differently if they're driven by different things. So we have a business purpose, we have a team purpose, but we need that individual purpose as well. And this is all taken from Dan Pink's book Drive, about motivational drivers. And the 3 key motivational drivers, he says, are mastery, autonomy, and purpose. And that's what we can work with the talent scan. But it's also something you can work with for yourself. I've just taken this quote from a younger lady that I work with. This is quite typical. I work with this lady. She was incredibly driven, a lovely, lovely girl, very talented. As soon as I met her, it just shone from her talent. But she had things that were holding her back, and she didn't know what they were. And she was struggling. I sat with her for an hour. And she had a persistence around clinging on to things emotionally, which meant she didn't know she had this. She was just behaving accordingly and holding on to things she shouldn't have held on to. But by revealing that to her, she had all these goals. And I said to her, Lauren, this is your trade. These goals for this motivational driver, is it worth the price? Do you walk through the door and feel uncomfortable and say, I'm going to have to feel uncomfortable and act in this way in order to achieve my goals? Or do you sacrifice your goals for this feeling? Then it's a choice. And she made the choice. And her life has changed completely. She bought her own house. She's been promoted. She's incredibly happy because she's fulfilling her potential. And she said to me, the session we had, I believe, was the catalyst for all this happening. And once again, I would just like to thank you so much. It's such a simple thing to do to unlock these things for people. So, if you can't sit down with me and you can't do the talent scan, how do you find your real purpose? Well, there's some key questions you can ask yourself. What gives you energy? When you give yourself a week, and at the end of the day, every day, write down the task you did that day that you felt energized by. You will find out at the end of the week what your talents are. This is a lovely question. If you had to live one day over and over and over and over and over again for eternity, that one day, what tasks would you fill that day with? Work tasks. You do your personal stuff. But what work tasks, what would you be doing if you had to relive that day constantly? Another way, same sort of question. If your boss said to you, or you went off and thought about what you're doing in your business, every day for the next year, I'm only going to be able to do 3 tasks, business tasks, every day for a year. What would they be? The likelihood is you're going to pick things that you're naturally good at, where you get energy. So that's a way to find out your talents. And then, ask 3 different people that know you, tell me what you think I'm good at. And take them from different spheres of your life, and they probably see it more than you do. So, it's about recognising your talent. It's about recognising the talents of the people around you. Really keep it simple, hone in. We're all good at a handful of things, but those things will carry us through life. We need to find them. You need to find them if you have your team. In times of stress, we live in a world that's going at breakneck speed. If you don't find your talents, you're going to find it hard to keep up. You find it hard to be agile. Whereas if you live with your talents, you can run instead of walking. So recognise your talents, utilise your talents, nurture your talents. And that African proverb needs updating. Because we now need to go fast and we now need to go far. And I would say, why walk when you can run?